The African Development Bank has called for bold investments and stronger partnerships to tackle growing fragility in Africa's transition states. Director of the African Development Institute at AfDB, Dr. Eric Ogunleye, said this at a policy dialogue session during the 66th annual conference of the Nigerian Economic Society in Abuja. The event had as theme Driving Africa's Economic Transformation in Transition States, the Role of Capacity Development and Knowledge Management. Ogunleye emphasized that achieving economic transformation will require deliberate actions, targeted policies, and stronger leadership that can mobilize resources for resilience and inclusive development.
Fragility has poses a lot of formidable challenges to transformation on the continent. It has also constrained a number of countries from growing. And remember, we're not talking about just growth, we're talking about inclusive growth. We're talking about sustained development. Now, when these issues I'd mentioned are factored in, you see a number of countries falling far behind. So the reason we need to engage these transition states is to ensure that no one is left behind. If you focus only on the countries that are doing well, the middle income, the low income, you will not be doing justice. You leave some of these countries ahead. So it's important, therefore, that we ensure that we accommodate them in our policies. And in many cases, they have peculiar needs that require that we focus on the challenges that they face. Now, there are over 250 million Africans that are directly affected by fragility, and there are about 576,000 lives that have been lost in the past 2 decades as a result of these fragilities. And by the middle of 2024, there were 44.5 million Africans that were forcibly displaced. And out of this number, 77% of them were internal displacement. Now think about it. If you have such internal displacements, will people be thinking about economic growth? No, the focus is on living first. They have to be alive before you can think about anything else.
Meanwhile, experts during the panel session emphasized the need for good governance, stronger domestic resource mobilization, and innovative financing partnerships to drive Africa's economic transformation, especially in transition states. Dr. Emmanuel Owusu-Shekere, Director of Research, Policy and Programs at the African Center for Economic Transformation, said reforms must prioritize visionary leadership and an apolitical development agenda.
Good governance and visionary leadership is how we ensure that our implementations, our growth strategy, trade strategy, industrial policy action plan, human capacity development strategies are properly designed, they are properly synchronized, they are coherent, they are consistent in outlook, and implementation is synchronized. The synchronization of implementation is very important. We need to build capacity aimed at addressing the skills needs of our development strategies.
On his part, Dr. Adeyemi Dipeolu, a consultant and faculty member at the ADI, highlighted financing as the backbone of transformation.
Now, closely related to the issue of low tax to GDP is the whole issue of illicit financial flows, such as tax evasion, aggressive tax avoidance, and profit shifting. These are leakages. And of these leakages, commercial illicit financial flows account for about 66% of a conservative estimate of IFFs of about 90 billion from Africa. Now, of course, since we know that the whole idea of illicit financial flows is to hide the money, so it's important that we pay attention to how to stem illicit financial flows. And as part of that effort, we have to pay attention to the ongoing negotiations at the United Nations for the Convention on International Tax Cooperation. One of our primary aims in that negotiation for African countries must be to ensure that tax is paid where economic activity takes place.